So, like I said, somebody's paying for this. And you can build all the walls you want to, but money knows how money works. And me and Kevin's money is not paying for these people to come over here and work for us because we don't have the money to pay for that.
Well, maybe you don't.
I don't have the money to pay for it.
Okay, welcome to another edition of Civil Disagreement. I'm your host, Kevin Beers.
And I'm your co-host, Michael Green.
And today we are going to be talking about how the Biden administration is doing so far this year. We've taken some time off.
Yes, we are back.
We're back. Both Michael and I have had so many family things that we've gone through. And hopefully we got all that behind us now so that we can continue doing this show on a regular basis. And we'll see where we go from there. So, what's first on the agenda there, Mike?
I guess we can talk about our disappointment in the current administration.
Disappointment with the Biden administration, and as you know, I'm the conservative, Michael's the liberal. We actually just lean those directions. We're not fully into them. So what's your disappointment with the administration?
I just feel like there are certain political views that are not being addressed, but we're watching certain other agendas being pushed forward and go forward. And you know, Vice President had said some things that I just think were just, you know, they were anti what she said during the campaign. You know, so it begs the question, you know, were you guys pandering or were you serious about promoting certain social agendas? You know, it is what it is for the people that who voted for you and put you in office. So.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. I believe we had done a show, and one of the things that we talked about is how we thought it was going to play out, and I think I had like 11 reasons why I thought Kamala Harris would be the worst vice president ever.
I don't think she's the worst.
Well,
I'm just disappointed in certain things. Like, everybody makes mistakes. Nobody is perfect.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it wasn't that I felt she was going to be the worst vice president ever. I just didn't think she was a good choice.
Okay.
You know, and there were a lot of reasons why I thought she wouldn't be a good choice, and a lot of that is actually true now. So
I mean, we still got time. We still got 3 more years. I mean, it is what it is. Let me clarify. The one of the top 3 issues that they were running on was social justice. The whole George Floyd thing. You know, she went on talk shows. She went on camera, and so did Joe Biden, to talk about the inequality of the justice system when it came to people of color. Period. Okay, nobody said nobody before this year, or before the end of last year, nobody cared about the treatment of Asian Americans in the justice system. Nobody. Okay, that is not a platform. And I am not trying to in any way take away the meaning of the bill that was just passed, the Asian hate crime bill, or anything of that nature. I understand it. Okay? I'm not even saying that we shouldn't have wrote it or shouldn't pass it or anything like that. I'm just asking, how do you run on a platform and then adopt a whole new platform, get work for that, pass that before your main agenda that got you voted in office by a lot of people in America even gets touched? That is a disappointment to me. It's my thing is, you couldn't do both. That's all I'm saying. You couldn't do both. I'm not saying one is more important than the other. I'm saying, how do you run on a whole entire platform of one thing? You don't get anything for it done. Go get a like-minded idea from another part of America. for people that nobody's talking about those group of people or having that item on your campaign. Like, nobody's talking about that. And then as soon as you get into office, one of the first things that pass is that. Like, like, I mean, what do you want us to say as black people? Like, for real, what do we say? Oh, well, you have to understand. I have to understand what? Like, I voted for you because you told me that you were on this, you were trying to create social change for me because I was underrepresented in this system, in this country, in that way. And then you get into office and you don't do anything for that, and you go give that same energy that you were supposed to give my group of people like myself, you go give it to another group of people. And they weren't even a thought. We're just gonna come out of left field, adopt this cause that has, you know what I'm saying, that was promised to us. We're gonna take that from y'all and we're gonna put it over here with these people. And we're gonna get it passed. First go around, we're gonna get it passed. Like, I don't even know what to say to that. It's all what is you know, I can hear people that are on my side of the fence saying, "Hey, Green, welcome to America. What did you think was going to happen?" But soon as we give these examples, people try to tell us that we're crazy and we're thinking wrong.
Well, my thought was when they passed that bill, I actually come in contact with a lot of people who are Asian, and none of them were reporting family members or anything as far as hate crimes go. Now, I'm not saying there weren't hate crimes, because there was some demonization, I guess, because coronavirus came from China, and that some Asian people were attacked through that. But it's not to the level of what we've talked about for other people of color.
And it
right?
is what it is.
And especially being that Kamala Harris is vice president, I would have expected that to be a bill that would have gone, like, just flew on through.
No, that's not what happened.
Now, my understanding is the George Floyd bill. My understanding is a lot of other stuff was lopped on top of it. So when it got voted down, of course it was like, oh, you're a racist for voting it down. But there was all this other stuff.
But the other stuff has to do with the direct reflection of how this country sees people of color in the justice system. So, of course, other stuff meaning, oh, we want to take away the ability of the police to be able to kill people of color indiscriminately based on the fact they're just scared. Like we're trying to hold you more accountable. That's all that is when they talk about more stuff. Meaning that if you're convicted or you know, of a wrongful death shooting, you get your pension taken away. That's the kind of stuff that's in that bill. You know, that's the kind of proposals that we're trying to put out there. But like I said, that's not good. That's what's being voted down. It's not crazy, you know, crazy ideas and so-called earmarked money for defund the police and all the rest of this other stuff. It's not stuff like that. It's literally more rules or things that will make police officers more responsible for their actions, since you get to take lives. It all that stuff that you've been hearing people talk about, driver's licenses and things of that nature, and handguns and all the stuff you have to jump through all these hoops just to drive a car. But a police officer can shoot at you and kill you, and all he has to do is sit in front of a camera and say, "I feared for the life of for myself and my fellow officers," and we're clear. That's it. That can't be.
Oh, okay, so if you're saying that's the other stuff, then what was the initial? What's the real thrust of the George Floyd bill?
The whole point is to make police more accountable and to hold them more accountable, to put federal government mandated rules in place that certain things happen based on unarmed shootings. Period. Just based on shootings, period. And the problem is there's people that don't want to see that happen because, the police are heroes, and you don't know what it takes to do that job, and But at the end of the day, you, if I have a job and I am negligent after you document certain training for me, and I am negligent in that job, I get fired. I don't get a pension. There is no union coming to protect me and tell me, oh, it's okay, we got your back. No, I was negligent and damage to the property or equipment, or somebody died or got hurt. I'm getting fired. That's how that works. And that is what we're trying to change for the police culture right now, especially with people of color. We're trying to change that. And for some reason that the George Floyd bill cannot pass for that. And that's the problem.
Now, does that bill require a simple majority, or does that require a...
It requires the same thing that the Asian hate crime bill passed with. That's it.
Okay.
That's it. It's that simple. And it can't pass because obviously specifically Republicans do not want that bill.
Well, it can't be just Republicans. Well, maybe it can be. Maybe
yes.
It can be. Because if it requires more than 50%, if it's a simple majority,
yes,
it would have passed. Is what I would think.
Yes.
Because it's a 50-50 vote right now. More
yes.
or less.
And apparently that's not happening. That's not happening. And I don't know what Democrat constituents voted against it, but obviously that there was a little bit in that mix too. So I have no idea why. But at the end of the day, as a voter, as a person that was listening to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris talk about issues that they were going to work on, and a lot of the Democrats that they were going to work on, and they can't seem to get this done. But we wrote up an Asian hate crime bill and got that passed on the first try. I mean, I don't see what the difference is. All that does is tell me that I don't have the same value in this country that Asian Americans have. That's exactly what it tells me as a person of color. And if you don't understand the statement I just said, then you're not looking at what's going on in America. Because I don't understand how a group of people that have no skin in the game can come out of left field and get something passed like that in the federal government, just like that on the first try. But people that were enslaved, had Jim Crow, that have died, literally died for no reason other than the color of their skin. Just the color of their skin. You're just walking down the street and you get lynched based on the color of your skin. Like, that's our history in this country. Like, and I'm not trying to compare suffering. I'm just saying that's our actual history in this country. Why is it so hard for us to get laws passed? Why? And it's not a reflection of our people. Black people are not lazy. We do show up to work on time. We do go to meetings and town halls. So that's not the issue. That is not the issue at all. Whatever representatives that we have in the government right now, for some reason, are failing us because they just don't think we have value in this country.
Okay, so let's move on to while you were talking. One of the things that came up in my mind was there was I guess a runoff election in Georgia.
Yes.
Now this was way back in January.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that Joe Biden said was, if you vote these two people in on day one, we will pass those stimulus checks that will go out the door on day one. And people voted them in. And then Joe Biden said, well, we got to negotiate this thing through. And it was another 2 months or so, maybe 3 months, I forget exactly how long it took, before those checks ever went out the door. It was one of those things, again, we promised this, and he even said, I believe he said he'd do it on executive order if he had to, but on day one, that is going out the door. And it was months. They backtracked it. My whole problem with some of the things that have gone on is it's all these promises and then there's no delivery.
Well, to a lot of Democrats, I hate the two-party system. I just hate it.
Same here.
You know what I'm saying? But to the Democrats' defense, a lot of stuff can't get passed because basically Republican infrastructure is just in the way. It just is. And this is what I mean by that. When we had a Democratic president and when Obama was in office and Obamacare was, as people on the right like to say, he rammed it through. He cheated to get that passed. Oh, whatever. Okay. When something like that happens, it's always unofficially that stuff happens, or they snuck it through, or they bullied their way through, or whatever. And instantly, soon as Republicans get in power, the stuff gets reverted or taken away or whatever. Okay, repealed, call it what you want to. And so my thing is, I understand that it looks like Joe Biden made a promise that he couldn't keep, but at the end of the day, did he really make a promise that he couldn't keep, or did he make a promise that people tried to put up? Again, we want to put up these stone walls in your way to not.
But the thing was, they didn't even try to get it through. It wasn't even a matter of, hey, on day one. Okay, let's just say he said on day one they are going to go out, but his real meaning was we will on day one we're going to push it.
Yes.
To get it out. Didn't do that.
I think he did, but it was like, hey, you're not going to get that amount. Because people thought we were getting $2,400 checks, and that wasn't true. Everybody's not getting a $2,400 check.
Right, but no. As soon as they got voted in, he backed off. It wasn't even a let's get that bill in there. It was like, oh, they got voted in. Okay, we're good. We can move on to something else.
I mean,
okay. Maybe that's just my interpretation.
Yeah,
but I think
I didn't
right
see.
on this.
I didn't see anything instantly happening. I wasn't. When they got into office, I did not think that all this stuff was going to instantly change. Now, like I said, I'm just disappointed because you're seeing stuff work, and it's not the stuff that they ran on.
Oh, okay.
That's the problem that I have. I understand politics is a slow process. It might take them the whole 4 years to deliver on every single campaign promise that they were talking about while they were running. You know what I'm saying? If it takes the whole entire 4 years, hey, what if it takes 5 years or 6 years because they get reelected? Hey, I'm good with that too, as long as they're working on it. But to see stuff come out of nowhere and get passed without any problem whatsoever just lets me know what is really valued on both sides of the fence. That's the problem. That is the problem that I'm having.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Again, I do believe in American democracy. I do vote. I just want to see you trying to actually work on stuff in Congress that you said you was going to work on. That's it. I don't expect to get free money. I don't care about $2,400 stimulus checks and stuff like that. Like this is not what it's about for me. One of the things that I care about is not for me personally. It's just for everybody that's like me in this country. I am not going to be the only benefit from a George Floyd bill. My 2 black sons and my daughter are going to be a beneficiary of that bill. I don't want my son driving around and possibly getting shot because he just fits the description and a cop is scared. Period. I want something in place that says that cops are not protected if they do that. You know what I'm saying? And that's a real deal thing because, again, we have the proof in the history. You can put whatever opinion you want on it, but the fact of the matter is that unarmed black men are shot and killed by police in this country. You cannot dispute that fact. You can say they shouldn't have been speeding. You can say they should have had their hands up. You could have said whatever. You could say whatever you want to about these men. But what you're not going to say is if it was your white son, it would have been okay because he should have had his hands up. If it was your daughter speeding, it's okay because she shouldn't have been speeding. You're not going to say that. You're not. So why is it okay to say that about my people or my family members then? We're all American, right? So if that's what you were campaigning on, I think you should be pushing that. I think you should be getting more advisors. I think you should be getting more ammunition. I think you should get Sean King, get whoever you want to, but you should be working on that right now. You should be working on that right now. That's the only thing you should be working on. And I'm sorry, like that whole, oh, we're going to pass the Asian hate bill. Boom, done.
No, okay, we circle back around to
Yeah.
that. We already covered that.
Okay.
Okay. So another thing that's going on is Kamala Harris
Yes.
was put in charge of the border security, border wall,
Yes.
border security. And so this is the way I saw it play out. So basically, she just would not go to the, now, in my opinion, her going to the site of the wall or whatever, I mean, I know the wall's really long, but her going to the site, honestly, and I believe she said this at some point, what does that really do? Because when I work, as a maintenance technician, if I fly to a customer's site, I can actually do my job better back home, where I can connect into the system and I got more resources at my disposal, things like that. So her going to the wall does not actually increase her ability to do the job. She could probably do it better back in Washington, D.C. However, and she had mentioned that, but everybody started questioning, why are you not going to the wall? Of all the places you can go, why are you not going to the wall? Then she went to, what was it, Guatemala? And she's down there, and well, now, first of all, throughout the campaign, they kept saying, basically, come to America.
Yes.
The whole time. They kept saying, you can, at one point it was like, don't come just yet, because I'm not president yet, but when I am, come on in. Then she goes to Guatemala, and she's saying, well, don't come. But they're not putting anything in place to stop anybody from coming.
Okay.
So now, before you go there.
Yes.
So she keeps getting questioned on, why are you not going to the wall? Why are you not going? Well, and then she did that nervous laugh thing that she does, and then, which I don't blame her for. When I get into an uncomfortable situation, I tend to smile. So I'm not going to blame her for that. But her answer was, well, I haven't been to Europe either. Like, what's the point of going to the wall? And then, okay, I'm still not done. And now I think you made me forget what my whole point was. Then I remember. Then Donald Trump says, I'm going to go to the wall.
Yes.
On this date. And all of a sudden, she's at the wall. Like, almost immediately, she's at the wall once Trump said he was going to go there.
Okay.
And it's like this carryover from We Hate Trump when he was in office. He's not in office, but the fact that he's going to show up is just going to make the administration look bad, because everybody's questioning, why aren't you going to the wall?
Okay.
Okay, now, go for it.
Okay. So the wall question for Kamala Harris. Everybody wants her to go to the wall because they want her to do what? And the reason I ask is because what do you want her to do with this wall? What do you want the Democrats to finish it? Do you think that wall is going to stop something? And the reason I keep saying that is because I mean, China built the greatest wall in all of the world. It's not going to stop anything. That's just common sense, knowing your history. But and this is what I mean by this. Okay, she goes to the border. She looks at the wall. She assesses the situation with the so-called camps or whatever they have down there. My thing is what is it that she's supposed to? I mean, what is she supposed to do down there when she goes?
No, I agree with you on that. Her going to the wall really does not help anything.
Yes,
I totally agree with that. But there is this whole thing about optics. So Obama knew all about optics. But
she explained why she didn't go to the wall twice before she went, and nobody wanted to accept that because they want her. They.
But see, the thing is, Obama went. One of the hurricanes came through.
Yes.
Flooded out an area. He went there, and my whole thing was, what's he going to do when he's there? He's not helping the situation by being there. He's actually hurting it. Because all of a sudden, all the workers have to clear out so that he can be kept safe. So he's actually impeding the work that's going on by being there. But it's all about optics. So he went to he went to the hurricane site. He cares. I mean, that's the message that's coming across with this.
Yes.
So for Kamala Harris to go to the border wall, we know that doesn't help anything. But the optics, again, it says, I care about what's going on at the wall.
Okay.
I from my standpoint, I think it's a waste of time, but I'm not most people.
Okay.
Most people actually look at that and say, she's handling this because she went there. You know, that sort of thing.
Okay. What was she supposed to go to the border wall and look at? That's my whole thing. What was the crisis there?
Well, the fact that there's so many gaps in the wall, people are coming through.
Okay.
And the thing is, she didn't even go to the wall.
Okay. So
she was 600 miles away from the wall.
Okay.
But I totally get it. She went to one of the facilities or whatever. You know, and then there's like, well, it's being reported that this I don't know what they call it exactly, but where all the kids were staying.
Yes.
It's built for about 1,000 kids, and there were like 4,000 or 6,000 kids packed into that thing.
Okay.
That's an issue. That's definitely an issue. But her going there does not help that situation. I'm with you on that.
Okay.
I don't understand what that actually does for anybody. But in a lot of people's minds, the fact that they're there, and again, I go back to my computer days of flying out to customer sites. The fact that I'm on site makes everybody feel like, oh, this is being handled, even though I can do my job better if I were back at my desk, back where I came from. Even though this doesn't help me get anything fixed, the fact that I'm there just makes everybody feel better.
Okay.
And that's what it's about.
Okay. So her answer to the question, why didn't she go to the wall? She was trying to find out, number one, you always got to find a root cause. Immigration is not the root cause. People coming over the border is not a root cause for us. You know what the root cause is? Root cause is why they coming here in the first place if they got their own country. Mm-hmm. Okay? So she wanted to find out specifically in these countries, what's in these countries that's making these people flee and try to come to America, even if they just come in here to cut grass, even if they just come in here and they have no family here, no nothing. Like, you gotta think about the market in America that they're trying to work in. Some of them just want to be here. They'll find work later. They just want to be here.
Okay,
you see what I'm saying? So it's not like they're fleeing to Mexico and stopping in Mexico. Right. Like they're trying to get into America.
They're jumping several countries.
You see what I'm saying? Yes.
Yes.
So what is it about these countries that we might be able to help with, and that doesn't mean give money, okay, that we might be able to help with to stop these people from fleeing their country? Is it anything we can help the other countries with?
Okay.
And the problem was she wasn't even allowed to entertain that process of elimination to solve a problem. You see what I'm saying? When that is the actual root cause of why these people are fleeing and coming to our country.
Okay, so what did the leader of the country tell her was the root problem?
I have no idea because I haven't read that information. I just know what she said as the answer when she was asked.
Okay, I'll tell you what he told her. Because the Biden administration invited them. They told our people they could come. So they went.
The Biden administration.
You know, throughout the campaign, they kept saying, come to America. Immigration, you know, we're all for open borders, you know, the whole.
Yes.
And the leader of Guatemala told Kamala Harris, they're going to America because you invited them to come.
Okay.
So.
I mean, we got a Big John statue that says, bring us your. Okay. Well, Kamala Harris not responsible for the Statue of Liberty.
No, but it was the administration who kept saying,
okay,
our borders are open. But you are welcome here.
Yes, they are welcome here because it's printed on the Statue of Liberty.
It's not just the Statue of Liberty.
It's just like when they say, hey, Michael Green, aren't you proud to be an American? Yeah, Stars and Stripes. Like, I'm not responsible for Stars and Stripes. My people didn't even do that.
No, the thing is, the difference here is, so when you look at Trump never said, come here. He said, stay away.
I understand that,
But-
which is not indicative of what this country
No,
represents.
and I'm not saying it is.
Yes.
But what I am saying is the Biden administration, as they were campaigning,
Yes, they did.
kept inviting immigrants
Yes, they
to
did.
come here illegally, basically saying you will not be turned away. I mean, basically.
Okay.
So if you're living in a country and you know that the United States has so many more opportunities, what are you going to do?
You're going to come here.
Exactly.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
But now she's going there and she's saying, "Don't come." It's totally contradictory.
Is she saying don't come, or she wants to see why so many do want to come?
No, she said, "Do not come."
Okay.
Those were her words.
Okay.
Don't come to America.
Okay. She
So-
said those words.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, if I find the video, I'll put it in.
Okay.
If I'm allowed to put it in, I'll put it in.
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come.
Or worst case, in the comments, I'll put the link to it, to her actually saying that.
Okay. Okay.
So what I'm saying is she's completely contradicting what they said while they were campaigning. Again, to me, it was pandering.
Okay.
Once again.
Okay. So, again, what is still the issue that we need to solve? We need to put a wall up to stop all the immigrants coming, or do we need to figure out why they're coming here? Because this issue was before Kamala Harris was even running for president. So, to instantly hijack this and put this in Biden and Kamala Harris's lap because she said, "Oh, you immigrants can come here."
Okay.
Why are we doing that?
Okay.
The wall was pre-Kamala Harris.
Okay.
So why are they coming here?
Okay, no, I totally get what you're saying. But here's the thing. So let's say your neighbors, you live in the farmland.
Yes.
Okay, you can't relate to this, but let's go for it. So you live in farmland. Your neighbor's cows keep coming into your fields.
Yes.
You're growing corn.
Yes.
They're growing something cows don't necessarily like.
Yes.
So cows keep coming into your field.
Yes.
Now, are you going to try to figure out why are they leaving the other farm, or are you going to fix the fence first and then try to figure out why they keep coming over?
Not a good analogy.
No.
That's not a good analogy.
Okay.
Let's see. Let's find a good analogy for this. Oh, here we go. Good analogy. This is a very good analogy. Okay. You have two people, okay, that have been presented to you, okay? You need work done, okay? You need the fence built to keep that man's cows from coming into your yard.
Okay.
That's the job.
Okay.
Okay? So the next door neighbor's kid down the street comes and says, "Mr. Beers, I can build that fence for you, but you have to pay me $500 to build it, not including the cost of materials."
Okay.
Okay? You go, "Wow. Okay." So then the next guy comes and knocks on your door because you posted a sign on a local supermarket thing saying you need somebody to build a fence for you. He comes, knocks on your door. He says, "Hey, Mr. Beers, check this out. I'll build that fence for you for $100, not including the cost of materials and everything." Okay? Now, neither one of these people, the next door neighbor's kid or the guy that knocked on your door with the tag saying he saw your thing in the supermarket, neither one of them can show you that they're professionals. They're not licensed Class A contractors. You don't care. You just want your fence built. Okay? So you know what you say? You say, "Hey, I'm going to choose the $100 guy because I'm going to save $400 in the long run." And you choose him. He does a good job. Boom. Do you care that he's not a legal American? That's a good analogy. And that's what's happening in this country. The reason these people keep coming here is because the people that have economic economic prosperity in this country are the people that's paying them. Nobody in my community is hiring Mexican nannies. Sorry, that's not a thing. Okay? So you have to ask yourself, who in America is hiring Mexican nannies? Where does that come from? Who has the money to pay for Mexican nannies? I hate to bring race into it, but that's what we're talking about. Who's paying for these people to come over here and work?
Okay, so that's the root cause. So how do you stop it?
You can't stop it with a wall. Because if I have the money to pay for a nanny, you know what I have money to pay for? To get that person over here around that wall.
But there are a lot of people coming here with no promise of any of that.
It doesn't matter. The proof is in the pudding. Hey, so guess what, Miguel? If you come over here, you can work with me. We got this guy that hires us to put roofs on houses. And you know who the guy is? The guy is a Class A contractor that has government contracting. And you know what he's doing? Every time he gets one of these little 5-6 figure deals for jobs, whether it be for roofing, cutting grass, whatever, he subcontracts out to who? Illegals. And so those illegals write home. Everybody has an iPhone. Everybody has a cell phone. People have cell phones in jail. So it's nothing for you to get a Go phone and call back to Ecuador and go, hey, guess what, Miguel? Hey, I got a job for you. Just get over here. I got work for you.
No, I don't believe that was a good analogy.
That's what's happening.
Okay. Let me just go another way. Okay, yes. so you got a faucet leaking.
Yes.
Okay. You don't know why it's leaking.
No.
Okay, so do you hire somebody to find out why it's leaking and get it fixed? Or do you first just shut off the main valve so it just stops leaking until you can get somebody in to fix it? So what I'm saying is you take care of the wall issue while you're working on the root cause.
You can't take care of the wall issue because America wasn't built that way. That's the whole point. You were trying to modify something to work against what it was originally built for.
Okay, so the
wall is not natural and it's not American. That is a modification that goes against how you establish this country.
So how do you stop people from coming here?
You have to then tell those people that are hot. How does drugs get into the country?
That's your area. That's mine.
Okay, you know what? Let's rock with that. Okay, so if a whole bunch of people are taking cocaine, where are they getting it from? They're not getting it from poor people in the city because we don't have the money to bring that kind of drug in. So where's the cocaine coming from? That's the whole point. You don't see nobody trying to build a wall to stop cocaine from getting in. But people to tell you it comes from Mexico. Where was the wall then?
Well, why is the wall not being put up to stop that?
Because to get to the root source, you have to go to the people that actually have the money that bring it in. That is the problem with this country. Who is financially responsible for making this stuff happen? A wall will not stop it. If I am financially prosperous and I want a certain part of culture that I can pay for, I will find a way to get it. Crime is always going to... And people keep ignoring that because it points a finger back at their next door neighbor.
Right. Okay. So you're saying we can't keep crime out because crime will always find a way. That's what you're saying, right?
You're not going to build a wall and keep crime out. You're not.
Am I correct in what I'm saying?
Yes.
You're saying crime will find a way to make its way here. Okay. How about the left keeps saying the majority of these people coming are not criminals. So how do we keep them out?
You have to go over to the people that's paying them to be here. If they're not, right. Listen to me.
No, I agree with you. Okay, so if you hire someone who's illegal,
I'm gonna give you a prime example. The war on drugs, right, Kevin?
No.
The war on drugs. I'll give you a prime example. Look at all the dope addicts you locked up, and look what happened. It didn't stop drugs from coming into.
Right, because you didn't go to the source.
You didn't go to the source.
I totally get it. Well, the war on drugs is that's just a
but
fail.
That's what you're doing. You're not going after the source. You are demonizing people that are being hired. They are being promised work. That's how they're coming here.
No, they are coming here to gain a promise of work.
Because the people that are already here have told them this is what they can do. There's a whole infrastructure set up on that. If I am a contractor, if I am a businessman, remember First Reconstruction? Mm-hmm. Here's a good example. See, this is the problem why people don't want to study American history because it's too painful. American history, First Reconstruction. Right after the Civil War, and they were called industrialists. These were the people that started these plants and built the railroads and did all this stuff. That's what they were called, industrialists. Okay? What did they do? They hired Asians. And what happened? The American / Irish / European workers got mad at the Asians. It started an all-out war. They were killing and lynching Asians on the West Coast because they were mad because the industrialists knew they could save 2/3 of the money in cost by hiring Asians. So instead of Americans going after the politicians that were writing these government contracts to the industrialists, because the industrialists knew they could save money, instead of these Americans fighting with the industrialists and trying to find a way to work with the industrialists to get hired, what they did was they got mad at the Asians and went and killed and bullied and did stuff to the Asian community. That's what they did. What was the root cause of the problem? The people that controlled the infrastructure was the industrialists understood they could get Asians for cheap labor. And that's exactly what they did. So why were the voting Americans at that time mad at the Asians then? Why were they burning their homes?
Okay. I'll concede that the root problem is people are hiring illegal who come across the border. Why can't the fix be twofold? The wall and going after those who hire them.
Because as soon as you go after people who hire them, you don't need a wall. You ain't gonna need a wall.
No, you still do.
Nope. No, you don't. You know what's gonna happen? Hey, if we find out you're a Class A contractor or you got a government contract and you hire illegals, not only are we gonna take your Class A certification, but we're gonna get rid of your license for 5 years. Oh, you're not gonna institute a law like that. You're gonna start messing with what we like to call white money. And we can't do that in America. And that's the problem. That if you institute a law like that, oh, that's bad juju. And you really think Republicans are going to vote for that? When you got brothers and sisters that own companies?
Okay. So let's say that law goes into place today.
Guess what? Guess who's not getting hired now?
Okay, so
illegals.
Right, so they're not getting hired. The IRS has rules in place already that if you're an illegal alien, you can still pay your taxes without having an EIN number or a social security number.
If nobody's hiring you, there's nothing to pay. That rule is pointless.
A lot of people actually own businesses.
Yes, because they got in off of the infrastructure that we are talking about now. They didn't just come here and create nothing out of nothing.
So are we going to also say, hey, if you're here illegally and you own a business, we're also, you got to shut your business down? Are we saying that too?
No. You got to put you have to put a grandfather clause in effect because you understand that it is not their fault that they have achieved the American dream even though they did it without citizenship. So you got to put some grandfather. Let's be fair about this. Hey, we did some research and are you American citizen? Well, no, I'm not. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to put some stuff in place and you better be an American citizen within the next 2 years. On average, it should take you 8 months to get your citizenship. You have 2 years. That's what they do with certifications in the United States. When they change a certification in the blue collar sector and it changes it across the United States of America and you have to now get recertified, they give you time limits. You can still keep your job. You can keep your benefits. You can even keep your status at your company. But if they say that you have to have this certification in 2 years, you have to have it. So what happens is when the company gets audited again and they say, well, Kevin Beers didn't go back for a certification. He was supposed to get it last June. Why doesn't he have it? You better have a good answer. And if you don't, guess what? Mr. Beers, we're going to have to let you go. You can't have this license anymore. We're going to revoke your certification. Again, we can put laws in place to be fair.
Okay.
But again, we're not looking at the root cause. You were trying to demonize immigrants based on something set up by literally money in this country. You were trying to demonize them. These people are coming over here because they're being told there's jobs here. And they're not lying. Because I can tell you right now, I know plenty of black men that own contractors' licenses in different states. And I can tell you right now, they not with that whole we're going to subcontract out to illegals. They're not with that. I know a guy right now. He has his whole job is based on hiring felons. You see what I'm saying? It just felons that come out of jail and they're trying to redo their life, and he's all about that. But I don't know a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, I got these government contracts and I contract out to illegal Mexicans. Like that's a whole nother thing.
Okay, so in this solution that you're building, and I'm actually with you on it. So today, the law goes into place.
Yes.
Okay, we grandfathered in.
Yes.
We had to grandfather in. Anybody coming in from this point forward,
Yes.
we just deporting them?
You're gonna have to if they get caught. Again, the law is the law. If you're illegal in this country, okay, and you don't have any of these provisions to stay here, in other words, you're not a political refugee because of crime, because of you're scared for your life or whatever.
Okay. So okay.
Yeah.
I will be with you on this one.
Yeah.
Now here's another question I have. One of the policies of the Biden administration right now is basically children will not essentially be turned away.
Yes.
Okay. So what happens is people are like, you're going to America, take my child. Now this child has no relationship to you at all.
No.
But you're going to take that child there and use that child to get across the border.
Again, it is one of those things where that is something that really you can't put a law on that. You really can't put a law on that. The laws that are written right now are for the naturalization and citizenship of foreigners that come to this country. So if you
Who come here legally.
yeah who well, everybody comes here legally.
No.
It's only legal if you register that you came here.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? When anybody that flies on a plane, comes on a boat, or walks across the border is here illegally until they register. Period. In the story.
Oh no! If you're coming from another country,
Yes.
you basically apply ahead of time. You don't come here until that application is approved. Then you're legal.
Okay. So if I come over here on a passport and I'm not a citizen, how do I come here?
Well, the passport is what gives.
But I'm still not a citizen.
No, but that gives you the legal standing to be here.
Why? Because I'm still not American.
No, but the passport itself is the legal documentation.
And I understand what you're saying, but I'm still here.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I get a job and I start living here.
And you need a visa too. So the visa is the.
No. Who says you need a visa?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not.
You need a visa if you want to maintain residence here and live here and work here. But to come here
for a period of time.
Yes, for a period of time. But to just come here and visit?
Oh well, but your passport is a limited thing. So
exactly, but that does not mean.
So if you overstay, that's what you're talking about.
Well, what is overstay?
Well,
what is the rules on coming here?
I don't know what it is for a passport.
And that's what I'm saying. So
I mean, if you come here on the student visa,
yes,
you can come here. You can be a student. That's basically all you can do.
And that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we are not looking at the root. We are trying to demonize a group of people, which is mostly Hispanics or Mexicans or Latins or people from what you would call people from South America. We are trying to demonize a group of people for being illegals when everybody else is doing the same thing.
Well, actually, there is a large proportion of people who overstayed the visas.
But we're not going to look at that.
No, that is being looked at.
I understand what you're saying, but that's not the face of what's going on.
No,
we're not building a wall for Europe. We're not putting embargoes on Europe because of this, or Asia.
The thing is, first of all, we don't put a wall on Canada because Canadians are.
But we don't have
happy.
we don't have a problem with Canada. What I'm saying is,
you can't put a wall up. You can't put a wall up for Asians because.
But there's no embargo on that. There's no thing coming up saying that we need to look at this Asian thing and these Asian illegals.
No, what I would say is that the news media is not telling you about that. They're telling you about the southern border, because actually, if you look at I know how you feel about stats, but
yes.
If you look at the stats, the majority of illegal aliens are coming from the southern border.
Because that is what's being reported.
Because it is actually the biggest number.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, if I read welfare statistics, you would think more black people are on welfare than anybody else.
Well, we had that whole conversation.
Yes, we did, but we had a common sense conversation. That's not what a typical report says.
I'll give you that one.
You understand what I'm saying? It's so at the end of
so is the problem the fact that the news media is reporting it this way? Is the government reporting
the
it
media
that way?
will never be a problem. The media can be a problem for disinformation. Let me rephrase. The media can always be a problem for disinformation, but never real history or facts. And this is what I mean by that. I don't care if you look on TV right now and all you keep seeing is Mexicans crossing the border, and they keep showing you Mexicans crossing the border and say that this is the problem. Okay? At the end of the day, if you read and do enough research, you will see there's holes in the immigration problem where they are not the problem. That is not the root cause.
Okay.
And no matter what you see, and how am I arguing my point that there is a construct in America that is financing illegal immigration, and it has nothing to, and a wall is never going to stop it? Why is that my point? Because I don't care what the media is talking about. The media is not going to talk about that.
Okay.
The media is not going to talk about farmers hiring illegals to pick their strawberries. And you know who owns that farm?
Okay, so that alone says the media is the problem because they're not reporting that.
But that does because they're not reporting it doesn't mean you can't do your own research and use common sense.
I'm not saying that. But okay, so we're first of all, so if you want to look into immigration, that's going to take you months of research to really find all the ins and outs of it. Then you look at big pharma. Then you look at social media. There's all these things that are going on. So you cannot know everything about everything, is what I'm saying.
You don't have to. All you have to... Let me put it this way.
So what I'm saying is if the news media would at least be fair about how they report things.
Yes.
And you say that they can be a source of misinformation.
Yes.
I prefer to call it lies because that's mostly what I see.
Well, they're reporting one fact over and over again, and you think that that's the source, and it's not. The fact that they're reporting about immigration and coming across the border from Mexico is not a lie. The problem is that to report on that like that's the only problem in immigration is disinformation.
Yeah. Okay. I do find that you and I usually agree on everything. we usually agree on everything. It's just that we go at it from a different angle, and
yes.
our angles don't usually agree until we get to our destination.
Yes. So in saying that, it makes me as a person of color, because I understand what it's like to be demonized based on just being you. So I want to look at that and be like, well, is it really a Mexican problem? Do we really need to say we need to build a wall to keep those people out? So then you ask a common sense question. Why are these people coming over here? They're coming over here to get jobs. Well, if they're coming over here to get jobs, who's hiring them? And we know who's hiring them. Mm-hmm. Every single time you drive down the expressway and you see a group of these guys in a white pickup truck picking up trash or cutting grass on the side of these highways, somebody hired them. That is a city contract or a state contract that they're working for. That's not just some random job that they picked up somewhere. And most of the time, the people that get those contracts are white-owned companies, and they subcontract out. And they say, hey, I'm going to give you this amount of money to clean this stretch of area, and come see me, and I'll give you money. And they get the money, and that gentleman pays out his guys that help him. Call it day laboring. You can call it whatever you want to, but it's really that simple. It's really that simple. So you think that you're going to build a wall and you're going to stop this Class A contractor, this guy that has access to all this stuff, means of getting these people in, hiding these people, putting them in houses? Do you know how many realtors there are right now that allow coyotes to put all these people in American homes, and you got like 5, 6, 12 people living in a house, and they're all day laborers? Now, are you mad at the 5 or 12 or 16 people living in a house, or are you mad at the realtor for allowing him for making this money off this coyote for letting these people live there? Okay.
Since you brought that up, I just want to get into one last thing.
Yes.
Actually, it's still in the same lines, but it's now been confirmed that the Biden administration, once again, is actually flying these. They started by busing the kids
Yes.
to different parts of the country
Yes.
under the cloak of darkness at night, basically at night.
Yes.
So they're busing them to these different locations and not telling the cities that they're going into. And they're just like housing these kids across the country to eliminate the overcrowding problem at the border.
Yes.
But they're doing it secretively. Then what they found was it takes too many bus drivers, I think, is part of the problem. So somebody's going to talk, and somebody did talk.
Yes.
So now they fly them. And they fly them into airports, landing at like Richmond, like our Richmond
Yes.
airport. Richmond airport is basically closed from midnight till 6 in the morning. Something like that.
Okay.
But planes are landing, and I'm not saying that's actually happening in Richmond, but that's across the country where there's planes landing when planes don't normally land.
Okay.
And there's nothing but kids on the plane.
Okay.
So what's up with that?
Oh, and let me reiterate on my other point about the realtors. Not necessarily realtors. I'm sorry. They're property owners because you can get your license taken as a realtor. I'm not trying to throw that shade on realtors. There are people that own property, that own houses. That's what I mean. That are cutting deals with coyotes or whatever you call them, human trafficking, smugglers, whatever you want to call them, that allow these people to live in these houses like that. But that's what I meant to say. So, but to that, what is the purpose of them flying these kids in the dark cloak of midnight to try to get them off on a? What is the purpose? What are you saying the purpose is?
Well, that's just it. They won't talk about it, but now it's pretty much been confirmed that that's what's going on.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Once something comes out, and if it ends up being like a very bad scandal or whatever, then I mean I don't know what to tell you. But that I don't even know what to say to that. Like I don't have anything for that. I would need to know why they're doing it if they are doing it.
Well, see, for me, if you're going to do it, just say you're going to do it. Now of course that's going to create a huge controversy. It's going to be like, just send them back to where they came from. Now, one thing I do want to make clear is I'm not against immigration. I'm against illegal immigration, but I'm also in favor. Okay, so if you are an actual refugee,
Yes.
totally different story on that too. If you are an actual refugee where you basically are going to be killed if you stayed in your country.
Which a lot of these people are claiming that.
A lot are claiming it, a lot are not true. But
Okay.
that it's one of those things like, how do you vet that out? It's an expensive process, takes a long time, all that. But if you are an actual refugee, I'm saying, welcome to America.
I think money, real money, is paying for these people to work here. It's not my money. It's not Kevin's money. Okay? And I'm going to be perfectly clear about that. It's just like drugs. Okay? Nobody sells cocaine in the hood. Period. Nobody sells cocaine in the hood. Okay? And when I say that, I really mean that. You can't go to any hood in this country and be like, yo, let me get an 8-ball. Like, that's not happening. Like, it's just not. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. People that participate in that know exactly where to go, and they don't have to drive into some hood or gang infested area to get their stuff, because money knows where money is at. It just is what it is. And I'm just telling you common sense. These people are coming here because they're getting paid to come here. Okay? I'm sorry. To go to a hotel in New York and your whole, like, over 75% of your staff is Hispanic, whether they're legal or not. I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody here that works in the hotel industry and just is Hispanic. But you have to ask yourself, what's really going on? And what money is paying for is cheap labor. Mm-hmm. That's what they're paying for, and it's just like it was during just like the first Reconstruction, when what industrialists or the white American power structure, what they own, did with Asians, and that is what's going on. And no matter if we built, my question is, if we built a wall, do you really think that's going to stop people from paying for what they want to pay for? They might have to put a little bit more money and effort into it, but they're going to get their cheap labor. They're going to get their nannies. They're going to get their people to pick their strawberries or their fruit or to work their collard greens. They're going to get it. Like, you can't stop that. You have... My son is not going to go out on the expressway in 105-degree weather and cut grass for $5 an hour or $7 an hour. He's not even going to do it for $10 an hour. He's not. Nothing against anybody that's doing that for that rate, but my son's not going to do it. So who's doing it? Because I promise you, they're not getting paid $22 an hour to cut grass. I promise you they're not. So, like I said, somebody's paying for this. And you can build all the walls you want to, but money knows how money works. And me and Kevin's money is not paying for these people to come over here and work for us because we don't have the money to pay for that.
Well, maybe you don't.
I don't have the money to pay for it. I promise you I don't. And I own a business. I can't pay for that. I can't.
Okay. All right. We will wrap it up there. Hey, we want you to come into this conversation with us. You can find us on YouTube at Civil Disagreement TV. Find us on Facebook, Civil Disagreement TV. Our website is civildisagreement.net. Any place else? Civil Disagreement TV Civil Disagreement.
Facebook. You did Facebook.
Civil
right?
Disagreement TV at gmail.com.
Yes.
So you can just email us directly there too. So, basically join the conversation. Tell us what you think. Tell us if you think Michael's full of it. Tell us if you think I'm full of it.
I'm always full of it.
And we'll just take it from there because we will engage with you. But tell us what you want us to talk about. We actually today it was kind of off the cuff. I do have a radio show that I do, and Michael was actually our guest today. We were talking about business owners, so that's what we did. But yeah, contact us and tell us what you want to talk about. And, today was just impromptu. Hey, let's sit down and do an episode. So here we are. Anyway, we are out.
I'm just here chilling with my man K-Dog.